In the previous part, we understood how the human energy system works. Now let us try to explore how the sound waves interact with this energy system to bring a change. Nikola Tesla once said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, you have to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Keeping this in mind, let us see how the sound waves interact with matter, be it the particles, the crystals, or the liquids. This is a fascinating experiment where the salt crystals are placed on a metal plate and a specific frequency is passed through it. As the frequency changes, we can observe different geometrical patterns forming on the plate. So this is a repetition of the same experiment with sand particles. We again see structured symmetrical patterns emerging similar to the previous experiment. Interestingly, all these geometrical patterns are something similarly what we saw in the patterns with the chakras, wherein each frequency was connected to a particular geometric shape of that particular chakra. Similarly, any sound frequency, when matches a similar frequency, can resonate and create vibrations and form a geometric shape. Now let us observe what happens when the sound frequencies are applied to water molecules. Now we can see that a spherical water droplet is even changing the shape because of the shear or stress of the sound frequencies or the resonance. This is another experiment where the sound of Om or the chanting of Om is passed through the water molecules. And we see that it is forming unique and harmonious shapes. And the geometries are so intricate. And when the frequencies of the sound are changing, you can even see the geometric patterns changing. So this clearly demonstrates how the sound directly influences the molecular structure. The scientific study of sound interacting with matter is known as cymatics and is being extensively used in research conducted worldwide to study the effects of sound waves on matter. We know that the human body is nearly 75% water, and when chanting or the sound resonance is created, every part of the body, be it the cells, the fluids, the blood, or the tissues, begin to vibrate. Along with this, the chakras also vibrate, creating resonance and activating the entire systems of the body. Meaning to say, the Annamaya Kosha as well as the Pranamaya Kosha is energized, and any kind of problems or blockages are removed, and it brings the body back to the natural harmony or the natural rhythm. So this is why chanting practices have been deeply rooted in the Indian tradition. For example, the Vishnu Sahasranama or the Lalita Sahasranama was a common chanting or a prayer practices in Hindu families or in Hindu tradition. So it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to complete the chant. So these prayers or the sounds of these prayers have all the frequencies which correspond to the 7 chakras in our body. In fact, there is a specific verse in the Lalita Sahasranama that symbolically describes the activation of all the 7 chakras, eventually leading to awakening of the Kundali from Muladhara to the crown chakra, which you can see in this prayer.
मूलाधारैकनिलया ब्रह्मग्रन्थिविभेदिनी मणिपूरान्तरुदिता विष्णुग्रन्थिविभेदिनी आज्ञाचक्रान्तरालस्था रुद्रग्रन्थिविभेदिनी सहस्राराम्बुजारूढा सुधासाराभिवर्षिणी तटिल्लता समरुचि षट्चक्रोपरि संस्थिता महाशक्तिः कुण्डलिनी विसतन्तु तनीयसी.
So this is not all. The modern neurosciences also supports these observations. One notable example is the Manipura chakra, where the associated frequency is 528 Hz. So this frequency contains the entire visible color spectrum and is often referred to as the transformational frequency. So there are studies suggesting that continuous exposure to this frequency may even influence the DNA patterns, meaning it has the power to even change your DNA patterns.
528 Hz frequency has been determined to be nearly the precise center of the entire electromagnetic color spectrum. There's only one number in the entire numbering system, whereby the electromagnetic color spectrum is the same as the sound system. That one number is 528. Both the same in color and sound. 528 Hz frequency.
A miraculous key that opened doors that no man can close and closed doors that no man can open. 528. It will change your life in the most beneficial way. And now we have substantive evidence, massive amounts of evidence that is what 528 is.
There are further research which shows how different frequencies impact the brain neurons, the mental clarity, the emotional balance, and the relaxation. This experiment which we are going to see next is a 40 Hz binaural beat, which is heard and we can see the effects it does on the brain.
The power of the 40 Hz frequency. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman has brought forward a fascinating recommendation for those looking to enhance their focus and cognitive performance. He suggests listening to a 40 Hz frequency for about 30 minutes before engaging in activities like working, studying, or any task that requires significant mental effort. This advice is rooted in the understanding of how specific sound frequencies, particularly 40 Hz, can positively influence the brain's functioning. The 40 Hz frequency falls within the gamma wave range of brain activity. Gamma waves are associated with high-level brain functions such as information processing, attention, memory, and problem solving. Huberman's recommendation is based on the idea that exposure to 40 Hz sound can prime the brain, setting it up for optimal performance. Listening to this frequency for a period before starting mentally demanding tasks is thought to stimulate the brain's neural networks, enhancing focus and clarity of thought. The 40 Hz sound works by aligning the brain's electrical activity into a more coherent and synchronized pattern, which is often linked to improved cognitive abilities.
The next example which you're going to see is was a experiment conducted at the Neurosciences Research Department of NIMANS, Bangalore, wherein a practitioner was chanting a particular mantra and the EEG electrodes were connected to the brain at specific points. So the recordings of the EEG graph clearly showed there was measurable change in the brain activity during the chanting.
Manobuddhyahankara Chittaninaham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham. These lines are from a powerful yogic chant called Nirvana Shatakam. Now when I say powerful, what do I mean? To find out, we had a chance to test the effects of the chant's vibrations caused in the human brain in the Man's Institute of Cognitive Sciences in Bangalore.
PhD researcher Saket observed that the mantra creates gamma oscillations in the brain.
So what you can see here right now, these are all the gamma oscillations, the high frequency oscillations. So now Akash stopped chanting, you can see the disappearance of the gamma oscillations. This is the differences you can see.
To conclude, chanting and sound-based practices, whether it is mantras, music, nature sounds, or instrument sounds, or whether it is sounds from the Tibetan bowls, all have a profound impact on our energy system and the mental state. These practices are not limited to Hinduism alone. All traditions across the globe, be it Buddhism, Jainism, or the Western traditions, all used powerful tools or sounds for healing and transformation. So sound, when it is consciously used, has the ability to elevate the body's energy and consciousness to a higher level. Thanks, friends. We will be back with more interesting topics. Do like, subscribe, and also share it with your friends